turn my back, you laughing.
I'm the coach. You're locked into the NFL on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a terrific matchup on tap between the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half, but it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Coach, thanks. Located appropriately for his career win total at 347 Don Shula Drive. There's a look at Hard Rock Stadium here in Miami, Florida. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
The calendar has turned to December, and we're in the home stretch now as we're underway in Week 13. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The former second-round pick, this is Joe Mixon. And right away, they're going to stack him up right at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the game's first play. And it's second down now. Defensively, though, they had a chance there to hit him for a loss. Couldn't get it done.
Looked like someone was able to knife into the backfield, but he wasn't able to get him down. But his compatriots, they were able to grab him at the line of scrimmage and not let him get any further downfield.
Well, they had the run for no gain. Now they'll try again from the 25 on 2nd and 10. From the gun to give to Mixon. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. He lost 4 there, and it's third down. Though certainly not the start they were looking for here as they come up on a 3rd and 14. From the gun, Mariota. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
It always helps for a visiting team to come in and set the tone on defense. In fact, when we talked with them prior to the game, they said they wanted this home crowd to feel like they had to hide their valuables when they were in town.
Well, the home crowd quiet now early. See if their offense can take over and get some points on the board. A big kick that time, 52 yards. And the Ravens, they'll take over. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. And to give this time to the tailback. The numbers for him from a week ago. 19 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown.
And the way they ran the ball last week has to bring a smile to the faces of the entire coaching staff because not only are they seeing a back pile up yardage, they're seeing an offensive line in sync. And that bodes well this late in the season.
There's a throw over the middle. It's taken in by his tight end. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. That one, a first down pickup of 8. Play action. Now Jackson. Rolling to his left. He's got the first down and more inside the 40. And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out. Big yardage there on the scramble. It gets him a first down.
On that play, as you saw the route start to develop downfield, I got the sense that maybe the run would set up for him. And he took full advantage of it and got a big gain on a busted play.
So now 1st and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 23. The first down run not going to get him a whole lot. Maybe a yard. Yeah, it looks like just 1 yard there. So that'll bring up 2nd and 9. And we get a quick peek at the Ravens starting offense.
And the play of this offensive line is going to tell a big story. And right now, if you're a fan of this team, you're loving the story that they are telling.
Got a man, it's caught for a Ravens touchdown. 23 yards for the touchdown. As his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. Tucker with the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. And on the first drive, 3 and out. And I know that these are professional athletes, but I would imagine sometimes you get the nerves at the beginning of a game still, don't you?
Those don't ever go away. And typically what I've heard from guys and what I remember from playing, if you don't have nerves at the start of a game, it's not going to be a great day for you. You're not really ready to play. So finding a way to harness those nerves and not let them affect you in a negative way, that's what all the guys are looking for.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete. And this pass defense, they were sensational in the win last week, and they're looking good here so far in this first quarter.
You know, we often talk about how offenses get locked in, and that runs over multiple games where they're really, in that zone. Defense
nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. They have to be thrilled with that first drive. They got them the touchdown. Now they'll be looking to make it a 2-score advantage here on the road.
And they spent all week in practice, in meetings, talking about taking an early advantage. Being the road team, going up a score, that takes the crowd out of the game and puts some doubt in the minds of their opponents.
And down to the 44, 5 yards that time. This running game so important for them, and they know that. It helped lead them to a victory last week when he was over 100 yards.
Let's face it, it's their identity, and that's what they want to play to. They want to be that team that runs the ball really well each and every week, and right now we're seeing a pretty good pattern of that happening.
10 yards there, good enough for a Raven first down. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
From the 27, Jackson. And this is caught. Touchdown, Baltimore. Mark Andrews, his 2nd touchdown on the season as the Ravens push further out in front. And he is a reliable target. They like to get him involved. They got him involved there for the score.
And they should. He's a very good player. Remember, they can use him in certain positions, so many different spots, and he usually comes through for them.
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game. And typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. Tyus Bowser make that now 8 sacks for him on the season. Second quarter from Miami. It's the Dolphins with the football as they've got it staring at a 3rd down and 13. Off the play fake, Mariota. And the pressure gets to him again.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
So out of bounds on the punt, and the spot will be, the side judge says, right at the 35-yard line here. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here, that could really put them in command before intermission.
Yeah, and it's all well and good what they're seeing and how they're feeling right now. But this is the NFL. How many times have we watched 14-0 leads evaporate and quickly? So how have we seen them combat it? Continue to run your offense, but don't back off at all. Don't start looking at the clock. Don't start thinking about, hey, just take care of the football. Keep attacking. Usually the best way to maintain control.
That throw good for only a couple. It brings up third down. Dolphins bring on an extra defensive back on third down. From the gun, it's Jackson. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. 10 yards there, good enough for a Raven first down. Jackson and the offense come up 1st and 10. And he's a perfect 6 for 6 here to start the ball game. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he's across midfield and into Miami territory. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it second down.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down. A very solid gain on that play.
Room here to run. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. That one covers 24 yards. It's a first down.
We both know it's difficult, but they've made it look effortless out there. Through the air, on the ground, they've moved the ball with relative ease.
They go play action with Jackson. Dancing to his left. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. Able to make something out of nothing there. 17 yards and a first down. 2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. And now Jackson will look to throw it. Forced out, and he will score. Touchdown, Baltimore. Lamar Jackson on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns as the Ravens push further out in front. Not the first time on this drive we saw him take matters into his own hands, and this time he finishes things off with a touchdown run.
You're not going to be happy with me, but I think he took matters into his own feet, didn't he?
Oh, Davis from the top rope. I like it. This will be taken in at the 1. They'll bring it back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here or an inability to put any points up. This one might be. And with a flag down, he goes down. So they're able to sack him. Now the penalty looks like it could be holding. Let's find out. So they will take the sack instead of the penalty.
And it takes another down off the series. But the biggest one of all, do you want to tell the guy who just got the sack that it no longer counts?
No.
No.
Rush coming, and he's taken down.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
A reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll send you up to Orlando. Jonathan Coachman is there, and he'll have stats and scores from a busy Sunday in the NFL. To throw is Mariota. Now the pressure comes, and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. Now the Ravens going to use one of their timeouts. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. First kick, 47. This one looks good as well. And it's fielded at the 34. 21 yards. Well done on the return. And the Ravens set up well to begin their drive as it'll begin in enemy territory already. Getting set to go again as we look at the back heading onto the field again. The passing game, they've had more success there than the running game. Maybe something they game plan for.
How come they didn't tell us about it?
Because they wanted to keep it a secret.
We did ask, didn't we? But I think what happened in this one is they've realized that they've established the run pretty well, and teams are going to key on that. They thought they could open it up and have success through the air, and that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, they've had success at least so far here in the second quarter. On second down now, Barlow. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a third down.
We all have habits. We can be somewhat predictable, and you know me pretty well on second down and short. What I like to say?
Play action.
Yeah, without a doubt. I thought that was a great spot to call it. Instead, didn't go their way, did it?
Now, defense sold out for the run. Worked out well. The Ravens going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the first down. Jackson and the offense come up 1st and 10, and he's 8 for 8 now, throwing the ball to start the game. Jackson, and he's going to go down, sacked right around the 17. On after the sack, he's still down on the field. We'll get an update when we come back to Hard Rock Stadium. Got to assume this defense will be charging again here. It's 2nd and 15. He turned that into a nice gain, gets him 8 yards closer for third down. And they're going to hurry back to the line now. On third down, Jackson eluded, and he will score. Touchdown, Baltimore. Lamar Jackson on his way to a historic performance, 4 first-half touchdowns as the Ravens push further out in front.
I heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that could finish off a squad if you let them.
Yeah, they've got the cushion. This half has been theirs. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. Typically down in the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Ravens going to use their third and final timeout as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. They come up on 2nd and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon. They don't want to repeat a first down. They'll keep it on the ground. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line.
We think Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. Mariota now. And he's going to go down. Couldn't get a throw off with the pressure. Maybe that was for the best, as that brings us to the end of this first half of play. And now, due to apparent time constraints, we fast forward to the beginning of the second half. This is taken at his 4. And he'll take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. Out come the Ravens now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second.
There he goes, right side. And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. A big play there, with touchdown number 7 on the year, as his guys continue to pour it on. And that run massively increased his production in this game, and now he's over 100 yards.
And break out your calculator, partner, because his yards per carry went up significantly, right? Big-time jaunt all the way to the end zone.
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here are the Dolphins now. They get ready for their first possession of the second half. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up there. Blitz coming, and down he goes.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in third and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
Now the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
A pickup of 27, and they pick up the first down in the process. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Here's Mariota. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you. You change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. Zero accountability, and a sack resulted.
On 3rd down, Mariota. That's caught by Howard. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a 4th down.
He wasn't the primary target, but I think it was almost like a check down situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, hoping he can break some tackles, a big tight end, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, get it to that big frame and hope he can scatter some bodies, unable to get it done.
Lamar Jackson marching back onto the field. He's been a good game manager. They're winning here in the 3rd quarter, but really the ground game is where it's been at for them, hasn't it?
So whatever the game plan was, you just got to focus on continuing to run the football.
It's a foot race. The 40, 20, 10, and all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. A great play there. An 80-yard touchdown as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. One play, 80 yards. Pretty easy drive to recap.
It certainly is, but not so easy to execute. Starting on your own 20, you want something to kickstart your drive and get it off to a nice start. They went for the whole thing and got it. That's a great way to send a message to the opposing team.
This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out.
Here we go.
First down Miami as they get set to start the drive. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to... He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off near the 26. And he will bring this back. It's a pick six and a Raven touchdown. This D wanting to put it away before we even get to the fourth quarter, widening that margin a bit further.
And while they won't just empty the bench just yet, if you're a backup, start loosening up. I think you'll get a chance to play before this one is over now with that type of a cushion.
So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick six. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out comes the Dolphin offense now as they get set to take over here. And they just had that pick six. I guess the only positive maybe of them returning that for a touchdown. This offense, nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
Partner, the Mike linebacker, the middle linebacker has so many different responsibilities. How excited do you think he was to get home with that blitz?
Yeah, he wants a sack. He got it. Finding room at the 30. And brought down across the 50 to the 49-yard line. Give him 32 on the play.
And that might be exactly what they needed to wake up this home crowd. They haven't given them much to cheer for so far. And never underestimate the effect the home crowd with you can have on a game.
Here's a run on first down that won't even get back to the line of scrimmage. He will lose a yard, 2nd and 11. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Well, you don't usually get a sack from a nose tackle spot, but we got one there.
No, we don't, and a lot of the times in passing situations, they end up off the field anyway. So how happy was he to work his way back to the quarterback and put him on the ground? He's going to end up with a nickname after something like that, some Big Jelly or something like that.
It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a 4th down. And I guess they figure they got to start taking some chances. Here's a big one in this third quarter as he'll go for it on 4th down. Throwing is Mariota. From the left side, it's complete. And he will take it in for a Dolphins touchdown. A big play there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Dolphins gain a bit of respectability. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions, and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. He's closing in on 200 yards on the ground with the 4th quarter still to come. We're in the 3rd. Good shot to get there.
And now he's got to make sure he convinces his coaching staff to leave him out there and keep touching the ball, because when you've had that kind of a day, there isn't.
And now off to the races down the right side. And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. A great effort there. His 3rd touchdown of the game, number 9 on the season, as his guys continue to pour it on. Not a whole lot to recap on that drive. Just one play, 75 yards to the house.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. And remember, rarely is it a straight line 75 yards, too. Got to have a little extra in there. So whatever the final number is, a well-deserved seat on the bench, a little oxygen if he wants it as well.
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Dolphins offense now heads back on the field. I guess they have to feel a little gratified to at least get on the board last time, but still work to do.
No doubt about it. I wonder now if they're going to try to increase the urgency a little bit, maybe pump up the pace, maybe go 2-minute. Who knows? Let's see what they decide to do.
And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, Ravens 56, Dolphins 7.
Give me that ball!
Working out of the gun, Mariota. It comes, and he lost the football. Mariota had it jarred loose.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball. That right now, that's a defeated team out there. I think you can see it totally in their body language.
Hands on hips, heads low. It's just been a struggle from the start.
Yeah, this team has been thoroughly beaten right from the word go.
12 yards on the return that time. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. And, Charles, we are in the midst of a very one-sided affair. I think this is where you and I have to fill a little bit. You want to regale us with old stories of your childhood in New Paltz, New York?
I don't think anyone wants to hear that, but this is a perfect time for us to start listing MVP candidates, right? The best teams we've seen so far this year, the best games that we've called thus far, how we anticipate the season unfolding. We can go in so many different directions because the game certainly not taking us there.
Oh, I hear the remotes clicking off right now. They go play action here on first down. And that'll wind up incomplete. Trying to give his man room to run under it, but it's second down. So line of scrimmage still the 39 on 2nd and 10. To throw again. Jackson. There goes a deep ball. End zone. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be third down. The Ravens on third down. A perfect 3 for 3 as they look to keep that streak going. This is 3rd and 10. Being chased out left. And they'll get him down at about the 37, well short of the first.
He certainly had plenty of success running the ball, and right now I'm getting the sense that he's looking to take off and run every time he steps back to throw it.
But they did a nice job there collapsing on him and holding him to a short gain. Excellent placement, and off that bounce, Charles, I didn't know where it was going to go. It can be an inexact science as to where they place it, but they say the 2-yard line.
Yeah, I don't know how they really determined that. And let's face it, at the end of that play, one side's going to be happy, the other team's going to be unhappy. It's like, what did they do, shorten the hypotenuse? I mean, how did they figure that out? You know that stuff. You're the smart guy.
No, that's you, partner. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. Out of his end zone, Mariota. And he can't get away. Mariota goes down, and that is going to be a safety. Things are just going from bad to worse now. It's a safety that does him in here, and that is one frustrated offensive unit.
They can't get out from under their own shadow right now. I mean, I know this is the NFL, but could you imagine a college crowd right now? Imagine what they'd be doing. They'd be chanting, "Start the bus," because they think this one is over.
And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. You know, these guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game. And that's always puzzled me a little bit.
And he'll lose yardage here, going down back at the 28. They went backwards 5 yards there on third down to break out fourth. On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whacking it. These guys, they've got it going today.
Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. And he's going to be stopped up quickly here. Just a yard up to the 39. On 2nd and 9. Mariota. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Dolphins have it as we welcome you back in. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. 3rd and long here for Mariota. And some room to maneuver. And they will finally get to him, but a great return has set him up 1st and goal at the 5. All smiles and high fives on that defensive sideline. That interception will cap off what was truly a tremendous performance.
Yeah, if you can hold a team to 7 points in the NFL, that's the kind of day that you feel really good about. Now, I do know a few guys are going to think to themselves, held it to 7. If we'd made one more play, could have had our shutout.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. They're still throwing the football here. Now, obviously, the incompletion stops the clock. That's the bad thing.
Feels to me like they're just keeping them honest on defense because you know they're going to stack the line of scrimmage to try and stop any type of a running play. Short little passes may work in exchange of running plays. Keep the clock moving, keep them moving.
Yeah, I guess you're right. If they can get some first downs, just as good as running the football. Now a 2nd down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. 3rd and goal, Jackson.
All right, Captain.
And give him another 6. It's caught for a touchdown, and the blowout continues. So another score there, and often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
So they are looking strong here in the fourth quarter. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This will be taken in at the 1. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in a game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
Now the Ravens going to use one of their timeouts. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. From the 38, Mariota. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The Ravens going to use the 2nd of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this fourth quarter of play. Mariota from the gun on 3rd down. And he can't come up with a pick. Nearly his 2nd of the game. Instead, 4th down. Another incompletion. You know, it's a wonder he's still moving around back there the number of times he's been sacked.
Yeah, he's staying out there, isn't he? And you don't think about it much in a game like this, but he's showing incredible leadership. Still competing, still fighting, not taking himself out of a ball game that appears lost.
So a change of possession here on the punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. The Ravens offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And a few kneel downs should just about do it. Now, defensively, they do have all 3 timeouts, but very little reason to use them at this point. And he'll be taken down at the 20 after a gain of just 1. Ravens going to use their 3rd and final timeout. It'll be their 3rd and final timeout, so as they talk things over, we'll step aside. And an alley to run. And they're able to get this one across the 35.
To my eyes, deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the fourth as it was way back in the first, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
Looking for more there on first down, but this throw downfield incomplete. They work again from the 38 on 2nd and 10. Oh, Jackson's going to throw it. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.